I'm a security guard at the Utah State Developmental Center, and my name is Josh Bateman. When my mom passed away, I went and lived with my aunt, and she was like, okay, you're gonna wrestle. And I'm like, there's just no way that I'm gonna be able to wrestle. But it really led me to have a strong desire. When you do have a lot of learning disabilities and you're insecure and you're always failing at communicating with people and failing at doing athletics or doing these things, I really think it's a common thing to become really insecure. I wrestled at New Plymouth High School in Idaho, and I really looked into go out for a UVU wrestling team, and someone said, oh, that's really not realistic, dude. But then they're like, there's this other thing, it's kind of like wrestling, that I think you would like, and it was called jiu-jitsu. How wrestling and jiu-jitsu is similar is you're trying to win this physical competition with this other person one-on-one, and in wrestling, you're going to win by points, or you're going to pin this guy's shoulders to the ground. And then in jiu-jitsu, you're going to win by points the same way, or you're going to win by that person submitting and giving up with either a choke or a joint manipulation. I really was just terrible at jiu-jitsu, just the worst. But I did get connected to it. Where it came from my insecurities, that I'm like, oh, I do want to be able to protect myself. I do want to be able to not feel as weak as I feel. And then really slowly, it took a long time just because of my dyspraxia and also because of my low self-esteem. So gradually, I didn't even know it, that I was starting to get okay at it. I never became great, right. But I would do a tournament against a guy that was like one of those spazzy wrestlers that would just slap his legs and slap his face and go and
try to overstimulate you a bit.
And just be so scary. And then oftentimes I would beat someone like that, and I still would have that feeling in my head that, oh, I'm still really bad at this. I'm not good. When people would point out, hey, you beat that really scary looking guy. And like I said, I never got great at it, but I really developed a strong love for it. I really got addicted to that for too long. Not only did I have this dyspraxia, I was really old, I got ran over by a car, and I was still like so addicted to, no, I can come back. I'm gonna have this fight, I'm gonna have this amazing fight career and stuff. No, even though I'm old, I'm still not gonna back down from these challenges, I'm still gonna challenge myself. But there is a time to be like, hey, what's your purpose in this? I really started to neglect parts of my life. Hey, at one point in my life, this added to my confidence. This really added to my sense of strong purpose, that I was facing the challenge, that I was swimming against the current and I was doing the right thing. But where it was just not realistic, where I was so injured and I was so old, I was always fighting past my natural ability and my natural instinct to even be a fighter. It's a Friday night and it's really heavy traffic, and I have a complete blowout, and I'm like, oh, I need to get to the side. It was very difficult because I'm slow, I have my hazards on, like just cars are just flying past and they're not letting me over. And I get over to the first really safe place that I could get over, and I get out and I couldn't find my cell phone. Immediately I was like, I don't want to change my tire here. Just cars just kept on flying past me because I was parked just by underneath the bridge. The bridge wasn't there now, but I was parked really close to the end of that barrier wall that is underneath the bridge. Maybe if I just walked back to Walmart, someone could let me borrow their phone. But anyway, I just decided to change my tire instead, and I wish that I hadn't. But I changed my tire, and just right at the end when it was all done, the tire was totally changed. I look over and I see this car heading straight for me, and it was just headlights in just a matter of seconds. And I knew it was gonna hit me. Normally you can't have two thoughts go through your brain at one time, but I had two thoughts at the exact same time, just instantaneously in that fraction of a second, that I'm gonna die, I'm dead. And my brain also said at the same time as, I don't wanna be dead. And it smacked me harder than I've ever been smacked in my life. I was on my knees, I was still in front of my back tire. It hit me really hard, it took my breath away. It was just this hard hit. And I woke up in front of my car. And when I woke up, I was laying down. I couldn't breathe at all. And I was making this awful noise because I couldn't breathe. I was making this noise like, and all this time, these people have told me, oh, you can't do contact sports, you only have one kidney. It doesn't take much to detach that kidney or rupture it or hurt it, and you don't have a spare one and you're gonna die. I was also an EMT for a year. I've picked up people that they were alive after they got hit by a car and they didn't live. And so that's what went through my head, is I'm like, I survived the hit, but I don't know if I'm gonna live. I was still on the road, but I dragged myself with my hands. So I got up on my bum and I just scooped myself behind my car so I wouldn't get hit. But as I was dragging myself, my leg was really swollen already. My femur was shattered in multiple pieces.
Wow.
My right femoral artery was cut, and then my lower two bones were broken like a carrot. And so my leg was really in this weird angle, and it was also really fat. When I would lift my butt up to scoop myself back, my leg stayed down. The best way I can explain it is it felt like I was dragging a garbage bag full of water, because my leg was just lifeless and swollen and big. And so I dragged myself up and I leaned against the barrier wall. So right where it tapers off, if you're walking towards the school on the bridge and you look over the side right at the last barrier before you cross the freeway, right where it tapers off is where I was leaning against.
They stopped, right? They stopped.
It
and
stopped
got-
like down there, but they never came and talked to me. I've never met them.
What?
I've never met them. No, they said it was my fault. I wasn't planning to change my tire, and I shouldn't have changed my tire. In fact, if there's anything that good comes from your little documentary, it's cautionary tale. You just drive that car on its rim, and whatever damage it's going to do to your car, it is minuscule and it's repairable than risking your life to change your tires. They say that a femur break is like one of the worst pains in the world. I didn't feel anything until I woke up in the hospital. The first time I felt the small amount of pain was when they put a tourniquet on my leg and put me in the ambulance. But I was still like talking to them, I was still conscious, I was still hopeful that they could save my leg. But when I was in the ambulance, I told them it's something that I really strongly like to advocate for is organ donation and blood donation. I got so much blood from people when I went to the hospital because I had lost so much blood, and those are all just strangers I'll never meet. So I've donated to 2 people. I met one of them, I didn't meet another person, but so many people have donated to me and I'll never meet them, and I'm super grateful to them. When I woke up in the hospital, it was like I had never known what pain was. It was so painful. But I was there for 6 weeks. The doctors told my sister that I would never work again, not because of my physical injuries, but because it had hurt my brain, and when I woke up, I was a crazy person. I just screamed and cried all the time. That's why I wouldn't be able to work again, not because of my physical injuries, and my physical injuries were significant. My recovery was a miracle. Doctors that don't have anything to do with each other tell me that my leg has healed miraculously, that it should not be anywhere near as good as it is now. And so it gave me a belief that miracles were still possible and you can be a part of them.